This is Reds Down Under, your Liverpool fan podcast in Australia. I'm Tom, I'm a Scouser, I've been here 6 years. This is our kid Jack, he's my guest today. Say hello, Jack. Our goal is to make the biggest community for Liverpool fans in Australia. That's the idea. That's the goal. And thanks to Redboat Ventures for supporting the journey so far. They're our production partner and they're legends, so thank you so much. We've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page at Reds Down Under Podcast. Jump on there, loads of content. Loads of good content.
Good content.
On today's podcast, we're talking about the Arsenal game.
Bang!
And Trent getting booed.
Bang!
We're talking about Brighton.
Bang!
We're talking about our Ultimate 11 between the 2020 winning title season and 2025.
Bang, bang.
We're talking about some other stuff as well.
Bang!
We're doing this before the podcast, so who knows?
This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Mate, thanks for
Cheers.
coming. Yeah, cheers.
Up the title winning Reds.
Up the title, piss boiling Reds, mate, I tell you. How's it going? Welcome back to Reds Down Under.
Cheers, mate. I noticed you didn't have me last week. I didn't get an invite, didn't get told about it. I thought, for the audio listener, you can't see this, but I'm wearing it. Would you call this a half zip or a quarter zip?
Yeah,
I think it's a quarter zip when it's from here,
It's
isn't
a
it?
quarter zip, yeah.
In honor of our fine Dutchman, Arnie Slot, I've got it on. But he's not wearing it because he's in Ibiza,
Yeah.
prepping for the Brighton game, which we can't wait to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm sure he can't stop talking to Wayne Lineker about it in Ibiza.
He's on the piss, isn't he?
Yeah, he's proper on the piss, man. It's class, innit?
Yeah, it's boss, isn't
It
it?
is class. With games to go, he's on the ale, mate.
He turned up to that Arsenal game and I seen him in his presser and he had stubble and that.
Yeah.
I was like, he hasn't been home for a week.
He hasn't. I seen, so it was a tweet, I'll send you it so you can put it in, and it was someone, I think his name was Juzza_23 or something, and it's when Slot joined, it said, I hope he's more of a Stone Cold Baldy than a Ten Hag Baldy. And then he put the picture up of Slot in Ibiza and he put Slot 316. Class. So yeah, Arnie, cheers, mate.
Yeah, Arnie. You're a nice fella. He's a good guy. So obviously, Jack, let's talk about the Arsenal game. Before we get into the Arsenal game, let's just go with something that's been massively sort of in the news. Liverpool fans getting stick for, because they love giving us stick anyway. Trent Alexander-Arnold hasn't yet signed a contract with Real Madrid, apparently.
Yeah.
Has he?
No, well, it hasn't been announced, but he's announced it. He put that very unsentimental video up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Insentimental? Unsentimental?
Unsentimental. Lacking of sentiment, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sentiment free. And like he's trying to cry on the video,
Yeah.
you know. So
I
I
know.
don't think anyone's been happy about it since that.
Yeah.
And then, you look at it all season, he has been winding us up. This celebration wasn't about the press and the stories.
No, that was about us.
It was about us. The only picture he put up from the Leverkusen game was with Alonso, who's going to be his new manager. Am I reading into it? I don't know. But obviously he did get booed. What do you think about him getting booed? Boo! What do you think about it?
I don't like the idea of us booing our players.
No.
As a general statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember when we had Albert Vieira and we're in the cop and he's gone past the play and he's just dropped like a fly, and I went mad and basically told him to fucking get up and sort himself out, and some fella kicked off at me. You don't have a go at your own players. And can you remember him? He looked a little bit like
Mick
the guy
Hucknall.
from
Mick
Mick
Hucknall.
Hucknall, yeah.
Simply Red.
Simply Red, yeah.
I don't know his name, but I'll send this to Mr. Halliday.
Yeah.
Martin Halliday, and he'll know
Yeah,
him. He'll
talking
know.
about rolling back the years there, holding back the tears. So, but look, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
But we are a super emotional fan base. And with that, you get the good and the bad with that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't win Istanbul without us.
Yeah.
You don't beat Barcelona in that semi-final without us, because of that emotion that we bring to it. You know,
the real 12th man stuff you're talking about.
The real 12th man, you know, Jose Mourinho saying that at Anfield, you know, they sucked the ball in the goal.
Yeah.
The cop scored the goal, Garcia didn't score it, all of that sort of stuff. So, but with that raw emotion and passion, it also goes the other way, is that we feel it all really personally. I don't know how you felt about that news with Trent, but I felt like Trent was leaving me.
Well, I think it's because you made such a big deal about him staying. Clickbait Tom over here, mate.
No, you know what? I will say it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I am deeply ashamed.
He's staying. That's what the Trent celebration was about. It was about our kid.
So never to reveal a source and all that sort of stuff, but I got a message from a credible person.
Yeah.
And they said, look, I've heard from inside the club, he's staying. I said, okay. Who is it? They told me. I said, okay. Then this person messaged me a couple of days later and went, it's still what I'm hearing. I said, okay, great.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I got so much hate on that post.
Was it the physio Richard Arlison? Do you remember Richard Arlison booked the coach? Did you ever see the thing? It's so off topic, this. The coach that went to Paris for the Liverpool fans, but it never turned up. Oh, and the booking was under Richard Arlison.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's our kid's source inside the club. Yeah. Just Richarlison with a moustache. That's a graphic you can't wait to make. Look, I agree with not booing your own players, but it does hurt more because he's local. Because look, we both moved to the other side of the world
for a better life.
But if we were both playing for Liverpool,
yeah,
you know what I mean, we wouldn't have left. So, like, although I can understand that, you know, the Beatles left Liverpool and it feels like he's at the prime of his career. And I think it would have been easier for him if we came fourth this year. It would have been like, you know, I've done as much as I can, I've took it as far as I can. We used the same thing Cocktail last year.
Yeah.
But we've won the league. And we battered Madrid in the Champions League. And it's Madrid as well. It's a European rival who we've played so many times over the last few years.
Yeah.
So, look, I don't condone booing your own players, because, to be honest, I think it's a bit of a blue-nose thing to do, to boo your own players. But at the same time, I'm sick of people telling us how we should feel about it.
Yeah.
Because it matters most to us. And, like, Rio Ferdinand getting involved, all these people getting involved, Gary Neville, they don't know how it feels for us to be, you know, from that city, and a lot of you watching this aren't from that city but support the club and know exactly what we're talking about, because he feels like he's one of us there on the pitch. So look, it's not nice, and in all honesty I think it'll be a big learning curve for Slot, because I think he's going to understand the emotion side of it. And I've seen Szoboszlai trying to like wave at the fans telling them to stop, but he needs to understand as well.
Yeah. And
if he wants to go to Madrid he can. And if he wants to put it wide at that left post, he can.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we'll come to Szoboszlai because he was absolutely fucking brilliant against Arsenal.
Classic. He is good, isn't he?
Yeah, you know
the longer the hair gets, the better he becomes.
Yeah, he's just got married as well, and he's Sobbo, so congratulations, mate.
Yeah.
Not that he listens to Red Star.
Imagine he did.
Yeah, he might.
Cheers, lads.
Yeah, cheers, lads.
Yeah.
And another thing as well I wanted to say is we live now in an era where the PR of our football club is excellent.
Yeah.
When I grew up, we were a mess. You know what I mean?
What, messages coming out? Oh, even, well, an example, Hicks and Gillette with Rafa.
Yeah, all of that. Speaking to Klinsmann.
Yeah.
Like, we were a mess.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, it was the old thing of, you know, in the old days, you wouldn't know Liverpool were going to go and sign Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah.
And then we signed him.
Yeah.
And we were a mess for a long time, but I have to say...
The only one in recent years I can remember being bad was Zubimendi last season.
Shocking, yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
The Van Dijk one.
Yeah, really
We tapped him up.
Yeah, really
which I'm
bad.
so glad we tapped him up.
We had to
allegedly.
apologise to Southampton. Yeah. But we apologise for tapping him up.
And Caicedo.
Yeah,
that's all in the last, you know what I mean?
I think, we're a bit off topic, but I think the Caicedo one was a genuine show of we are here in the market. We believe he's the best whole midfielder, box-to-box player in the world, or he will be, and we're gonna have him. Because there's not, with that one, I mean, this is old news, isn't it? But they don't go for players unless there's a smell, a whiff
that the player wants to go.
Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah.
Why would you do it?
Yeah. But you never know, like, the relationships with agents and all that. Like, Caicedo's agent could have been like, yeah, he's keen, he wants to come, and meanwhile he's putting an extra 50 grand a week.
Yeah.
Or an extra agent's bonus on his to Chelsea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I do like about Liverpool is, whoever that agent is, knowing what Michael Edwards is like, he will not deal with him again.
Yeah.
So he can bring him as many wonder kids or whatever as he wants. Edwards is a relationship. I know he's not so much day-to-day anymore, but that was off topic.
It was.
But yeah,
but what I was saying was that the club have been unbelievable, I would say, since the new ownership came in, John Henry and that, Tom Werner.
The bed.
Yeah.
Linda.
Who brings a bit of class, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
Brings a bit of class. Yeah. I really like it, actually.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if you put her and Ian Rush's wife next to each other, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one was which.
They're just two older men who've done very well in life, aren't they?
Beautiful, stunning women.
Yeah. Supple women.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, the club are a PR machine and they're very good at it. It's very rare now something happens that comes out the club and you go, oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's true.
Or that's not like the whole COVID furloughing thing
Mm.
didn't go down well. But other than that, I think the club handle themselves very well. But we're a fan base and we don't have a PR manager. Like, the club are always being advised, and rightly so. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't do that. If you know, but we don't have that. We are just what we are. And if in 60,000 people, if 10,000 people feel that they pay money every week, they pay for a season ticket, they've supported this club since they were little, and they feel wronged, they have the right to boo.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
100%. If they live in Australia and they've been following the Reds for years and they buy the shirts and the merch and the scarves and they contribute to the football club in that way, they have a right to alright, maybe not boo at home, don't boo at home.
The wife will be angry at you if you think the cooking's not great. But yeah, for sure.
That's how I feel about it. It's like, you know what, we have every right to say whatever we want to say.
Yeah.
We never do anything.
Don't tell us how to feel.
Yeah, don't tell us how to feel and don't tell us how to act, because we hold ourselves, I think, exquisitely well. Jack, the game,
Arsenal, okay.
What do you think? What was your takeaway from the game?
Well, I know this is a Liverpool content podcast, and we always have to be pushing content.
No, we don't push content. I wouldn't say we're big on pushing content.
Alright, but I'll be honest, all I wanted to watch was Mikel Arteta grab us. I could have turned it off after that, obviously, never, but how good was that?
Yeah.
Twice they've done that for us now.
I think
twice he's done that for us.
Every Liverpool fan, that's the one.
Yeah.
Getting a clap at the bridge is great, innit?
Yeah.
And it was good. And but to get a clap against, you know, I said, look,
they're a rival, aren't they?
They're our biggest rivals this season.
Yeah.
In terms of competition. And I think the game showed that, actually.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal actually played really well.
Yeah, they did.
But to get that round of applause coming off.
Yeah.
But not from
Miles Lewis Skelly,
Yeah,
is
not from young Skelly, eh?
Yeah.
And you know what? There's something about him that I really dislike.
Yeah.
Right? But I really like.
Yeah, so I honestly, that was my thing, because he was the one who got the celebration against City, weren't he? And he done Haaland's celebration. He scored against City.
He scored against City.
Yeah, and then obviously there's something about him I really like.
Yeah.
But at the end, like the same time, Haaland earlier in the season, to stay humble and all that, it's more, in that situation, he should be getting an old pro's arm around him, being like, look, this is what we do. Because when we're champions next year, or if we're champions, or you know what I mean?
Arsenal.
Well,
I'm gonna fucking laugh at you.
Well, you'd want to show respect, because that's what it is. It's a show of respect.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know,
and I think like I didn't like the not clapping thing. I would clap any champion who came on the field.
yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
So I didn't love it. But I did really like the sort of like
Yeah.
sort of thing. But the game.
and then Salah ran him ragged.
Yeah, Salah turned him up. Arsenal finished the game with 4 left backs on the pitch.
Yeah, well.
Which is absolutely bonkers.
And you'll still probably sign on for one in the summer.
Yeah,
Won't be,
a really defensive left back.
Yeah.
Right-footed defensive left back.
Gakpo's goal was a cracker, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 And Robertson to get us. That's only his first of the season.
First assist of the season.
Yeah,
and let's be honest, he got that disallowed goal in the last kick of the game as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he missed the sitter.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was Robbo's season.
Yeah, maybe like a lot of you would have been watching our Optus, and it was like Jota. Oh, it was Robertson.
Yeah. As soon as you hear Jota in the box, you think it's a goal, don't you?
But look, the first one was really well worked. The Salah getting onto the ball, getting it into Szoboszlai, who then played the ball off of Diaz for the second. Szoboszlai was really impressive, man.
Yeah.
Look, they all had a good going. Look, let's face it, if the title weren't wrapped up and we were in a race here, an actual race going into the last couple of games of the season, you know what I mean? A draw against seconds.
It'd be a great point, wouldn't it?
Point,
if there was 3 points in it and we got a draw, it'd be like almost winning the title, wouldn't it?
So, look, I thought Arsenal played a lot better in the second half. It's probably because the lads were on the cans, mate, at half time.
Yeah, the lads have been on the pitch, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have you seen Carlsberg? A bit off topic, but Carlsberg have brought out the Miracle of Istanbul can to celebrate.
I've seen... Oh, no, is that the re-release of the shirt as well?
Yeah.
Or is that the club have done that with Carlsberg?
Part of that, yeah, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I was seeing that the other day. But here's one for you, off topic again. With that,
can I just say on that,
without the badge, you know that when they remake kits, when they don't have Reebok on them or Adidas or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like the old Liverpool kit, the Umbro kits from back in the day, when they don't have, it's always a bit like
it's like
surely you could do a one-off deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Nike aren't gonna have it, or Adidas, are they?
Yeah.
But also on that, can't say a button, but we've got 1, maybe 2 signed shirt giveaways coming up in the next couple of months. Yeah. That's all I can say. Until I get them in my hand.
Yeah, it's not happening. He's leaving.
Yeah, Trent. It's going to be Trent all over again.
Trent 2.0.
But the Arsenal game, Jack. We're 2-0 up. The second goal was brilliant because, you know, Szoboszlai breaks the line, runs beyond the striker and creates the goal. And it's something only Szoboszlai in the squad can do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's going to be a place of interest in the summer because Elliott doesn't do that. He's a different type of player. He likes to come and get the ball and move the ball.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai likes to be on the end of stuff.
Getting up.
So I think if there's an area in there, I think Slot, when he finishes on his bender, might be looking at a
attacking midfielder.
Attacking midfielder, and dare I say it, an Eze sort of player at Crystal Palace. I really like him. Play on the wing as well. Or he could play as a 9. But I wanted to say, Arteta, we give him quite a lot of stick, don't we? Because he's a miserable bastard, isn't he?
He's a godless human being.
Like, that guy does my head in. He's a great coach, though. I really do like him as a coach. But he made a change in the second half. He did like a Brendan Rodgers tactic. He split the centre backs and he pushed the full backs really high up the pitch. And then, but he kept his midfield sort of 3 wide and his attackers wide. And he created an overload on the wings. We just couldn't deal with it, really. And it completely changed the game. We couldn't get the ball. Gakpo at that point, I think, was then just destroyed. I think we started looking at bringing Nunes and whatever on then to freshen that lineup because we just couldn't deal with it.
You were impressed by his tactical acumen?
Yeah, I was impressed. But the thing that really stood out for me was, we've talked about, we need some fresh blood up top. I've had a change of heart about both Diaz and Jota. If you can keep both of them, but go and buy a powerhouse number 9 who's going to be your man. Yeah. But for me, love Curtis Jones, love what he's about. I think he's a really good player. But I don't think the Curtis Jones Grafenberg thing for me is a solution.
No.
Like, I felt like McAllister is up here, and Jones is still going, but the gap is vast.
See, when you were talking about like Szoboszlai, that breaking the lines kind of thing, I still see Jones as a player that does that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, I don't know, a lot gets made with Jones sometimes about he'll play the position really well, but he won't do anything exceptionally well, but he'll play his position well.
He'll be a 7 out of 10.
Exactly, yeah.
He'll be,
in a few months you'll get that.
Yeah. That's a long joke.
That's a
That's a long payoff.
Oh, it's worth it. But yeah, he'll always, he'll do a job anyway.
Yeah.
But the things that excite me most about Jones is when he is higher up the pitch.
Yeah.
And not kind of, I don't know, restricted that role.
But he is really good.
McAllister gets a lot more freedom. But yeah, I think when Jones, like, surrounded by players, like he's great with the ball. Man.
Yeah,
he is great with the ball.
Tight spaces, isn't he?
Also, on you were saying before, Szoboszlai with the breaking in the lines, we all thought Gravenberch was going to be that player.
Yeah.
And now he's the best old midfielder in the country.
Well, he's definitely in the conversation, isn't he?
I don't know if you're champion, mate. I think you can have it, but
no, I don't like that because that's like Aston Villa fan saying Martinez is the best keeper in the world
because he won the World Cup.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's bollocks.
Just a reminder, Jimmy Traore won the Champions League.
And he deserved it.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Jones. I like Jones deeper. I'm not saying, we need to get rid of Curtis Jones. Far from it. Definitely keep him in there. But the difference is vast. The difference is vast between Kanate and Kwanzaa.
Oh, for sure.
The difference is huge. Where when you look higher up the pitch, it's not that big a jump like between Gakpo and Diaz, for example.
What did you think about him putting Nunes on?
I liked it. I thought it was actually perfect for Nunes because Arsenal were going wide with the centre backs.
Yeah.
I thought that if there's going to be a player who's going to break and cause them loads of problems.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I'm kind of in this headspace of like, he's either, if he's going, like, good on you, down. Like, it never worked out, but like, we'll all look back in 20 years and go, hey, won the title with us down there with the Brentford game. You know what I mean? But like, it really working out, you wouldn't like absolutely definitely say it. But I don't know. It's if he's playing, I always get like this towards the end of the season. Are they playing for the shirt for next year? You know what I mean? Or is it kind of just...
Well, he's gone, isn't he? He's gone. I haven't read it officially on the L files yet.
Yeah.
Hello, Wayne.
Hey, Wayne.
How are you? But I have sort of seen things about, or maybe I did read it on the L files, but I've seen things about there actually being like a little bit of a bidding war for Nunes. Saying close won him. But, you know, I think his head's been gone for a year.
Yeah.
His head's been gone for a year.
Yeah, probably. I was at the Tottenham game last season. Toward the Cop's second to last home game, and he missed a couple of chances, and you could see he was kicking. I think that's when he took like Liverpool off his Instagram and all that. How petty is it, by the way? In this modern world we live in now, that you go, well, that's it, I'm not affiliated with them anymore.
Hey, look, mate, I said Trent was staying, and everyone was sending me like threats. So imagine missing a last minute header, mate. Yeah. I think Nunes has sort of been. I think he's been gone. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll wait for the season to end.
Yeah.
We'll get a couple of weeks closer to the next season. We are going to keep making podcasts. We've got some good ones lined up, haven't we, that we're looking at. And we'll look at potential incomings and outgoings. So anyway, the game finished 2-2, which I think was a fair result in the end. I thought Arsenal came back really well.
Yeah.
And I think sort of just was a little bit of a reminder to the league that, you know, they're still there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they've been sort of blown out the water this year by the Reds, but the Reds are mustard, aren't they? Jack, let's look ahead to
Brighton.
Let's look ahead to the next game. So we'll talk about this Brighton game. We'll talk about that 2020 versus 2025. We'll make an 11. Playing a 4-3-3.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, 4-3-3.
It's a way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Double pivot or not, wait and see if you're asked. And then we'll talk about a couple of things coming up, because the 97 5k run is happening in Liverpool soon, which is a brilliant event. And I think a lot of Reds from Australia might be over there. So
running it?
We'll see. Well, let's talk about it now.
All right,
good. So I'm just looking at the information. So on the 24th of May, which is when we win the league. That can't be right, is it? I haven't got the date right, but it's the 97. It's the 97 event where you go and run 5k or a mile. I think it's pretty much the same thing, and it's all to raise awareness for the 97 people who died at Hillsborough.
Yeah.
And it's to raise money for local communities. Jamie Carragher's involved, loads of different ex-Reds are involved as well. You either walk or you run. You do whatever you want.
But if you're walking, you'll never walk alone.
Yeah. Hey, that's the end of the podcast. Thanks.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks very much.
I think 5k is 3.3 miles or something like that.
Nah, it's not, is it?
It is.
Well, I'm sure it's 5k.
No, I'm saying 5 kilometres is equivalent to like 3.3 miles,
is it?
I think.
Well, you know what it is. I'm going to get loads of messages after this and saying the info's wrong. It's the same source that told me Trent staying.
They're not even running.
They're not even
running.
So they can run, they can walk. It's a really good cause. Max from the official group in Newcastle, he's going for the trophy parade, the Jammy Boga.
Is he going to run at the...
He's doing it.
Is he, yeah? Oh,
He's doing it. So, if... We put out a post this week asking what Reds are going over from Australia. So on our Facebook page we've got the post and there's tons of Reds. Yeah. So we're asking people where they're going, what they're doing, what their plans are.
Yeah.
Because there's an opportunity to literally bring Reds from all over Australia together to go the same boozer.
Oh, that'd be class, wouldn't it?
And watch the Reds.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a ticket, you can watch the game together.
Yeah.
If you have got a ticket, you can go for a couple of pints before.
I've missed 1 week and it's all happening now.
Hey, I tell you what, mate. Yeah. It's because last week we didn't have any booze. I was with Adam, wasn't I, mate? Hilarious podcast record, by the way. We had kids on trampolines, people mowing the garden.
That was my personal favourite. He went fucking course. That happened to Adam, eh? But yeah, no, it was good to see you and Adam.
It was good,
talking.
It was good.
How was it?
Wait there before we go on to Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're interested in going and doing it, go and have a look at it. I think it's like £25 to take part. All the money goes to local communities. And if not, even if you just want to contribute towards that cause, we'll put a post up on Facebook with a link, and you can sort of donate there if you've got like a spare dollar. Go on, what were you saying about that?
Oh, that was really good what you've just done there. You're like Bob Geldof.
Yeah, give us your fucking money.
No. Yeah, the podcast you did with Adam last week.
Yeah.
I've got a few things I want to criticise about it.
Yeah, and then we will get on to Liverpool versus Brighton.
I mean, the
Who gives a fuck?
The Reds have won 20, mate.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Like, great seeing you and Adam together. It was great. Adam, obviously, not understanding.
That he needs somewhere quiet.
Somewhere quiet,
Yeah.
you know.
That was his first ever podcast.
Hey, what a debut.
Great guest.
Great
guest, yeah.
But, you didn't mention me. Neither of you did. Really?
We did.
Oh, it got cut out?
Yeah, so we had tech issues, as you could see and hear.
I've got our kid issues, mate. And Jay didn't.
No, we spoke about
Jay Ravel.
We spoke about Jay as well. We did.
So, bit of context, because they never give this, because they're just best of chums, aren't they, on the podcast together? That's how it felt.
Who, me and Adam?
Yeah.
We are best of chums. You're just me brother.
No, but on the it was only ever me and you wearing at the games.
No, we never said that.
There'll be pictures me and Jay we've rubbed out, and it'll just say Reds down under there, mate. That's all it'll say on it.
No.
And anyway, there's not much talk of me and Jay. Catherine got heaps of mentions. So we're basically a family of 5.
Catherine's our favourite.
Who, you know, we're not related to the other 3, but who've went the game, shared many memories. But no, just Tom and Adam around the world, eh?
We told that story about when we all went to Borussia Dortmund together. Payback for anyone who was there the other week, when Jack talked about the fact that he wasn't at the Borussia Dortmund game, but everyone always tells him that he was. I love talking to Adam.
Yeah.
It was great.
Did it feel like you were more just on a FaceTime than doing your podcast?
Yeah, I've done loads of these things now. It was his first.
Yeah.
So we had a good chat beforehand and that. And he started telling me all this like gold about what happened. I was like, fresh record.
Just wait, yeah. Good on you, Adam. It was good to see you anyway, both together. And,
yeah,
you know.
it was good, like, because the time difference is hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially we call each other on the weekend, and either it's Saturday night here.
And
I'm hammered.
Yeah.
Or it's Saturday night and he's had a bevy, like.
Yeah. Those I've had a few of them where he rings me on like a Sunday. It's like Sunday morning.
Yeah, you're on the bay walk.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, lad."
Yeah.
It was good to see you, catch up.
It was.
Right, Brighton. Let's get in.
Yeah,
Brighton.
all right. So Jack, Liverpool are playing Brighton on Tuesday.
Yeah. What time kick-off start?
20th of May. I think it's 1:30. Let me have a look.
Because that'll be these 1:30 Monday mornings are killing me, man.
Oh no, man. Well, that's construction for you, isn't it?
So, yeah, Brighton, 5 a.m. Tuesday. So that's all right, isn't it?
5 a.m. Tuesday.
Yeah,
in the old Champions League slot.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's pretty good, that, Neds. Fancy watching it, or? We'll watch the highlights later, won't we? I mean, that game, Jack, Brighton, they're in 9th in the table, mate. I know the Reds have been on the ale, but we've had a defeat now and a draw.
Yeah, we need to get back to winning ways, don't we? We've got to get back to winning ways. Just to, you know, set a bit of normality again for next season.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, you know what I mean? I think we'll beat them 5-0. I think it'll be 5-0.
Max said the other week, didn't he, about the Chelsea game?
Yeah.
He was like, I reckon we'll beat them 6-0.
There's been a good few predictions, hasn't it, on here?
Yeah. Wayne came close, I think, one week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne.
Look, we should beat them, but, you know...
Wayne came close.
They're probably planning what they're wearing and everything for the parade, aren't they?
Yeah.
I hope he gives... I don't know, I just hope he gives some of the squad... You know what I mean? Just keep rolling the dice. Give some young lads a go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there is a couple of kids, isn't there, coming
Yeah.
through who would do well with the game, like.
Yeah, just to breathe them in a bit. Because when else are they really going to get the opportunity, 2 games to go in a season, to play against, play in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy to see that, man.
Yeah.
Give them a bit of exposure to it.
I know, but if there's one thing we've learned about Arnie Slot this season is that he hates rotation.
He hates rotation. But, and I hope, to be honest, I hope we tonked them and I hope Salah gets to break that record. Because the one thing I'll say, when he passed the ball to Szoboszlai,
Yeah.
I was like, shoot!
Yeah. There was one where he passed the ball to Diaz and the keeper saved it. It was a brilliant
Oh,
save.
that was,
That's the one,
that was a cracking save from Raya, that actually, wasn't it?
Brilliant save.
He's not a bad keeper himself.
He's a good keeper.
He's not a bad keeper, him.
He's a good keeper.
You know who his favourite keeper is as well?
Yeah.
Alisson.
Is it?
Loves him.
You know what though? I'll say this about Raya. If I was winning in the Champions League final and I was getting an onslaught, balls into the box, I'd have Kelleher.
Was it?
Yeah, 100% over him. 100%. But he's great with his feet, isn't he? And he made a great save, as you say, against Diaz. Jack, Brighton. Are you really going with 5-0?
Why not?
Why not? All right. Brighton have scored, I think they've scored 59 and have conceded 56.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about their season because they've had João Pedro knocking them in. They've had Danny Welbeck knocking them in.
Yeah.
They've got threats with Matoma and Minter.
I like Matoma.
O'Reilly and that. Yeah. And I tell you what, they've got a
They've
lad.
had some cracking games this season as well, Brian.
Yeah, they're good value, aren't they?
Yeah, like, you know what? They're a really good top half team, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and to lose the manager, to lose Potter and then lose De Zerbi
yeah.
and still be 9th
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Yeah, like the football, like I think everyone likes Brighton, don't they? Unless it's like Bournemouth. Bournemouth probably hate them.
I'll tell you who doesn't like Brighton.
Well,
Brian Clough, mate. He said he wouldn't go with it because they weren't our people.
they're not our people, Brian.
Yeah, they're all Tories.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I mean, the 9th in the table, which is pretty good. You know, it's a competitive Premier League. It is a competitive Premier League. You look at the top 6 at the minute.
Anyone's in it.
Yeah, like I think Arsenal now are in.
Yeah.
After that draw, but the rest of them.
Yeah.
Brighton sitting 9th. They've had a lot of draws this season. I think I wrote down actually how many draws they've had. They've had 13 draws.
Wow.
And the teams around them have had like 8 draws, but a couple more defeats.
Yeah.
So it just shows you they're in the game.
Yeah.
Like every week they're in the game. So I think it's going to be an interesting game because they will have a crack. And I do think there is goals in it as well. I will go for the Liverpool win.
I'll change.
Okay.
4-2. Liverpool.
4-2 Liverpool.
And I'll tell you who's going to score.
Go on then.
Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Kanate.
Yeah.
Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm wrong, just edit and change it.
Do not reveal Jack's source.
Yeah. I was gonna go. I was originally gonna start that. Van Dijk, Kanate, Robbo.
I'll go 2-1. 2-1. I don't think it's gonna be a big open game.
I feel like though we've got to have a. There's a spanking again. I feel a spanking.
I know. I feel a spanking.
But do you think it'll be Palace?
It could be Palace, yeah. It could be. Because they will have a crack.
Yeah, I'm going to change.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go on.
1-0.
1-0. 1-0 Danny Welbeck.
Yeah.
Slots on the pitch.
But ultimately it doesn't matter, does it? Because we're champions?
No, but I tell you what, mate, it felt like it mattered when I was watching that Arsenal game.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah, it felt like it mattered. I really wanted it. You know, when they got that red card for Marino, who, we're going back to the Arsenal game, who, by the way, is the biggest lightweight footballer I think I've ever seen in my life.
Augusta wins it. Knock him over, doesn't he?
Yeah. He is a weak boy. He is a wee boy.
What percent are these?
5 5%.
He's a weak, shallow piss eater of a man.
Brighton. Yeah, so look, I think it's one of them games. You never know. It's always tricky going down to that stadium. It's so far down there. And yeah, the people of Brighton are so... I've never seen a intense atmosphere in that stadium, but they fill it every week.
They're good. They're sound club,
They're
aren't
fine,
they?
aren't
Yeah, yeah, they're all right then.
Yeah. They're better than Bournemouth, the shit houses.
Bournemouth, mate.
Alright, so there's our predictions. I've gone 2-1, Jack's gone 1-0.
I think I'm going to change it.
No, I don't care. No one actually cares anyway, let's be honest.
No one cares, we're champions, aren't we?
We're champions,
Can we just have a little cheers for the champions, by the way?
Cheers to the Reds.
Cheers to the champions.
Hey.
Jelly and ice cream.
Yeah. Don't say it. Don't say it. Alright, Jack. Take the wheel.
Yeah.
Because this was something that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What are you thinking?
Combined 11s from the squad that won in 2020.
Yeah.
And the squad that's won this year.
Yeah.
It's sort of... I don't know. I was just thinking about it. Do you remember what game it was before? But I just started to reminisce because I was looking to watch, for Australian fans, which is all down under here, I was very disappointed because you still can't watch the Klopp documentary.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know, it's ridiculous. You need a VPN and I'm not getting into all that. Just like Abby...
getting into it all.
Just like Abby won't put fuel in the car. I'm not getting into all this VPN business.
Yeah.
So I rewatched Doubters to Believers, which is on
Stan.
Yeah, I watched that again. Just because, building to this, we kind of knew titles coming and I just wanted to relive some memories from it. I was looking at the squad that won that title and how electric the team was that year we won it.
Yeah.
And I made a comment a few weeks ago about if the Salah we've got now had Mane, if Mane was in this team with the Salah who's now so willing to get the assist more than go himself.
Yeah.
But watching them two, man, and Firmino, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Lallana, all those boys, that season was so unbelievable and our team was so... Because we had to be.
Yeah.
Because City was so good, man. Yeah. And we're on the back of a Champions League win and we had to be there. And then kind of
And it was pretty much... It wasn't identical, but it was pretty much the same team.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really?
100%.
There's a couple, I think, who came in.
There was games there, obviously, where there was a lot of impact substitutes that season. If you remember, Lallana against United, Origi, of course,
Origi,
the god,
yeah,
Origi. So, and then I started looking at this season and the way this team's played and the affection we have for those players, the work rate, the output of the players, and we can get into stats and all that. But, I don't know, just an interesting thing of even if you look man for man and position for position, what version of that player was the better player? Because obviously, now there's a lot of this squad, a lot of the first 11 anyway, who were older, who were there the first time. But, how many young players did you see at Man United who've got Premier League medals and didn't do anything again in their careers?
Yeah.
But then the players who went on, who was it? Danny Simpson, was it? Who played for
Leicester? He won the league.
He won the league at Leicester. Where did he come from? Was it United?
I think he was United.
Yeah, United. So how later on in your career when you go and do it again and the player they become kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. It got me thinking about it. So if you want to get it up, because obviously you've done a bit of prep for this, haven't you? The starting 11s.
Well, so what we've got is. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to go through and talk about the stats.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
So yeah,
we don't want to do that.
And I think as well as stats.
And if I ever have to be XG ever again, yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
Jack doesn't like XG.
I just don't get it.
I like it actually.
I don't like the Opta stats either.
No, I tell you what I don't like. No, I do like Opta stats.
Yeah,
very helpful.
Yeah.
When you've got a podcast.
Yeah. No, not so much the in-game win probability.
I hate it when that guy goes, oh, and now the win possibility is 78% for Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know the guy?
Yeah, the Indian guy.
With Jim Beglin.
Jim Beglin. Yeah.
No, the guy with Jim Beglin.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what you think the win percentage is.
Yeah, because it's
nonsense.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
It's nonsense. Give me a stat that, like, you know, even if they went, both teams like to play out from the back. Virgil van Dijk's had 33 completed passes and Saliba's only had 22. At least it's helpful. At least it's like telling me something about the game.
I don't mind that thing of like, from this point all season Liverpool haven't, like, when they've led a half time haven't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. That's fine.
That's great.
But don't tell me there's a 68% chance of winning and then we concede automatically and then it drops and you're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's forget all that.
It's nonsense.
Let's look at these.
It's nonsense.
Stats.
So what? Yeah. Stats.
There's some cracking stats.
There's some good stats.
There's a stat man I follow on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, actually, 3 out of 10 people do. Who is it? Will people like him?
Yeah, I'll send you that later. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's good though. He's got good stats. Yeah.
I like good stats.
Yeah, I know you do.
So what we decided to do instead was to build our 11 that we liked. We'll both like different players for different reasons.
Yeah.
We'll build our 4-3-3 Liverpool 11 2020 and 2025. And we'll pick what year from those players.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start in goal then, Jack, because it's the most important position on the pitch,
100%.
isn't it?
Alisson Becker.
Alisson Becker.
I'm having him over Alisson Becker. That's for certain. I'm taking him.
I'd take Alisson over Alisson.
Would you? Yeah. No, I think this year Alisson's been different gravy, man.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's been this way, hasn't he, for year on year. You know what I like about Alisson? You're always waiting for it to dip. And he seems to just get better and better.
He does get better. You
know, and this season especially.
Down under, and this
has he done a clanger this year?
Yeah, he would have done. I can't remember it, but he would have done.
Well,
they all do.
Usually we allow him a clanger. Oh no, he did. I can't remember the game. I can see it now. But yeah, like, so I don't know. I think Alisson's grown so much. He's obviously such an important figure in that dressing room. Yeah, no, even Alisson would be class, wouldn't he? He was unbelievable that season. He's been special this year, man.
I think either Alisson from 2020 or 2025 would be perfectly fine.
Yeah,
I think both of them were arguably the best goalkeeper at the time. I think this Alisson that we have right now is without doubt the best goalkeeper in the world. And for that reason I'd go 25.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I'll go 25, yeah.
Let's go with that smarmy shark at right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Who was second choice that year? I love him that year, and I love
because there is other players, Jack.
Yeah.
From 2020 there, you've got Joe Gomez, who definitely contributed.
Yeah.
In at right back. I think Nico Williams was in and around the squad at that time, but I think it was definitely Trent's position. So it is, and this season you've got Connor Bradley, but Connor's he had injuries, he's played bits and bobs, so really it is a conversation, I think, of Trent or Trent.
I'll 2020 Trent, because he loved us then. He didn't want to leave, did he? The snake in the grass. No, I don't know, because Trent that year, and look, like, style of play has got a lot to do with this, as it will when we talk about, like, left back in the minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, what those players had to put up with and output going forward and all that. But yeah, that year was passing, like, it's all still there, but the frailties of them this season more so than any other season I've really noticed, because we haven't allowed him to get forward the way usually he has done all those years under Klopp. So then when he's only getting like 2 or 3 chances a game, and then he's getting dribbled past, you know what I mean, or he's getting ran at a lot this season, you kind of got to say, like, it's been shown this year. Yeah. Whereas I think, you know, it didn't matter in 2020.
It wasn't.
Because it was expected.
It was expected.
Because he's always up there, you know what I mean?
And in 2020 as well, it's important to mention, we had such an industrious midfield.
Yeah, which I'm very excited to talk about in a minute, by the way.
Well, don't get too excited.
Yeah.
But for me, 2025 Trent is a better player.
Yeah.
He's a better defender.
Yeah.
I think you can see how much importance in the squad he holds. But I think 2020 Trent for me, just that unrelenting overlap, like for 90 minutes, and the ball quality for a player that age.
Yeah.
I'd have to go 2020.
His passing quality.
Yeah, for a player that age anyway.
Yeah, it was just frightening.
Yeah.
I'll go 2020 Trent.
2020 Trent. All right. Centre back, Virgil van Dijk. Let's start with him. And we sort of skipped one.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
For good reason.
But we'll come back.
Yeah.
Because I think Virgil's a definite, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's in.
2025 Virgil or 2020 Virgil?
I think 2020 Virgil was the best centre back I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before that injury at Goodison Park.
Yeah, and the start of 21 was that? Oh, the end of 2020 was that?
It was the next season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the next season at Goodison Park. Virgil van Dijk at that time was at the peak of his speed.
Yeah.
He was in a settled back four, settled goalkeeper. We were fantastic. That was at that point, he was spraying them 40-yard balls to Salah.
Yeah. Every week?
Every week.
Every
bang,
game.
Bang.
Yeah, every game. Do you remember the past, I mean, it was the year before, the season before, that ball to Mane in the Champions League against Bayern.
Against Bayern,
yeah. I think he had a lot more, Klopp allowed a bit more freedom and to go and express yourself a bit more, I think. Especially, we will get onto that midfield, but the midfield, no way. You cover, you get in, you run all game.
Spamming eggs,
Yeah, but now obviously it's a bit different with the players we've got in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's, I can't see a drop off in Virgil. Because when he's got to turn that pace on, it's still there. It is still there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, look, he's been unbelievable, hasn't he?
Yeah. What? Honestly, he's the best defender, the best centre-back I've ever seen.
He's the best centre-back I've ever seen.
He makes Rio Ferdinand look terrible. He makes him look average.
Rio Ferdinand was really good player.
No, but he makes him look average.
Yeah. He's got everything.
Yeah.
He's got literally everything. Yeah, I think this season he's back to that.
Yeah. This has been the year of him getting back to that, hasn't it?
Yeah,
sure,
don't get me wrong, he's had other good times in that period. I'm not saying he's been shocking.
Yeah.
But I think this year
back to his powers.
the Rolls Royce is back.
Yeah.
And I think that for that reason, not many players are at the top of the hill and then just drop a little bit and get back to the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Who does that?
No. Yeah.
Well, Virgil van Dijk has done it for me, and so I'd go this year for me. I would, because if you take Van Dijk out of the 2020 season, I think that team was that overwhelmingly good. Like the point total was that high.
Yeah.
That you could probably take Van Dijk out for the period of the season.
Yeah.
And the Reds would still be competitive anyway.
I think you're wrong, you know.
Maybe, mate, but I mean, who were the other centre-backs that year?
Joel Matip obviously played on the other side, though. Joe Gomez.
And that's it, really. that's it in terms of centre-backs. I know Jordan Henderson.
Oh, Ragnar Klavan. He was still there that year, wasn't he?
No, he was gone.
Was he
then.
gone?
Yeah, Nat Phillips was in and around.
Yeah.
Ozan Kabak came in the next season, so he wasn't there. I don't know why he's on this list. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong actually. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think 2025, because he's got the. That's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
That is really hard.
It's toss a coin, isn't it?
Because he's now done it as the captain. But I remember hearing that season, Rolls Royce of a defender. And yeah, that, you know, like talking about Trent going out, like it's upsetting to see him go and whatever.
Yeah.
How we're gonna feel when I think he goes, Vela goes, and you go back to having good centre halves.
Yeah, good centre halves. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But not of that level. Cause
yeah,
he's,
like Arsenal have got at the minute.
Yeah.
They've got two really great, really good centre halves.
Yeah, but not that.
But
Because he's a generational player.
Yeah.
I think the fact he's 33 and he's still the way he is, I'm going this year.
And he's the captain.
Yeah.
To win it as the captain. So let's put him in.
Yeah.
Right now, I think we've got a little.
This is hard.
I think we've got a little bit of a battle on here because his right centre back partner.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of options.
That season.
So 2020.
Yeah.
We talked about them other players who had runs.
Yeah.
I think Nat Phillips played some games. Joe Gomez definitely played some games at centre back. I'm pretty sure.
Can you remind me of something?
Yeah.
Was Matip as partner 2019 when we won the Champions League?
Yeah.
All the way through? And was it Gomez who partnered him all the way through the Prem? Because there was a period where it was one and the other.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, there was.
And then it was like, there was a lot made about like, well, who's his partner?
I think the problem was that Matip struggled to play 2 games a week every week.
He did. You gotta remember, we got Matip later in his career.
We got him for free from
Even one of the best free signings ever, man.
He was great, man. He was
great. He was nuts as well, Matip.
Yeah. I tell you what I loved about Joel Matip was he was nuts. He looked so uncoordinated.
Yeah.
But his passing was actually really quite good.
His passing, every time he passed the ball, I thought he was going to fall over.
Yeah.
But his passing lands wherever he hit it.
Like a flamingo bird.
Yeah.
But
what a footballer he was, man.
What a footballer.
Joe Gomez, I think I'm right in saying, I think Matip partnered. I can't fully remember. I think Matip partnered him more in the Champions League the year we won the Champions League. And then it was Gomez most of the title winning season.
Yeah.
I think I remember Joe Gomez being absolutely unbelievable that season we won the league.
Yeah, but I think Matip was the main centre back partner. I think Joe came in and played a lot of minutes at centre back. All right, and then you've got this year you've got Kwanzaa, who's obviously contributed, and you've got Kanate.
Yeah.
It's Kanate or Matip, isn't it? It's got to be. Kanate's been...
He's a beast, isn't he?
One of the best defenders.
He's a beast
in the world.
And you can see it by the clubs who are having a poke around him again, and you know.
Yeah.
He's
mustard.
Yeah, and to see what he's done, we spoke about it a few weeks ago. The covering he does for Trent on that right hand side. It's Kanate. He's a monster of a centre half, him, Tom. Monster of a centre half.
I love Kanate, but I'm gonna go with Matip.
Go on. Does it tell you how many minutes? Because it'd be funny if Gomez was his partner all season.
No.
Our kid's like Ozan Kabak, Stephen Cook.
Ozan Kabak had the best song ever. Yeah, but
what's it going?
He's Ozan Kabak. He's Ozan Kabak. Ozan Kabak. Oh, he plays centre back. Oh, he plays centre back for Liverpool. Da, 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 da. Goes like that. Love Kanate.
Yeah.
I do. I love him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's potentially a player who, if you give him another really good centre back, you know, they will do okay without Van Dijk eventually.
Yeah.
But for me, Joel Mata, stepping up with the ball into midfield, creating overloads in that midfield. He popped up with a couple of goals as well, Joel Mata, which is something Kanate doesn't tend to do. And yeah, I think for a player as well who had Trent on the right and covered him really well, although he was never sort of a super athletic sort of player, where Kanate is. For me, Joel Matip goes in there. And another big thing about him as well, and it goes against Kanate in a way, but it's sort of probably unfair, is Matip had won the Champions League as well.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was a big important player with that. All right, let's move on. Who are you going with? You're going with Kanate, aren't you?
Yeah, I think Kanate. Kanate.
All right, we'll agree to disagree on that one then. Left back Jack, Andy Robertson. I think this is one of the easiest shouts in the team.
2020 Robertson.
2020 Robertson. Even though, look, he's had a crack this year, but I think 2020 Andy Robertson at left back, we got out of Robertson what you wanted, which is a left back who goes down the wing.
You got the job done. I need to correct you on something.
Yeah.
Joe Gomez.
Yeah.
28 starts.
Yeah.
In that year.
Yeah.
From centre back.
All right. What about Kanate?
He went there.
He was just a twinkle in his dad's eye.
Only played 9.
Oh,
that
shit.
season.
But what a 9 performances it was. All right, well, I'll tell you what then, I've got to go Kanate, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've got to go Kanate.
I knew, I could remember.
But for someone who weren't that bothered about the stats, our kids quickly pulled them
No,
up,
well,
didn't they?
I just remembered Gomez that season because the excitement of me being like, Joe Gomez, he's only 25 or 26 or whatever.
He's probably younger than that. He's probably younger. All right, let's talk about the midfield 3.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just tell you what mine is?
Go on.
So we can move along with it. For me, 100% goes in. Fabinho. Hold midfield.
He was so good.
He was the best hold midfielder in the world at the time.
Yeah, he was.
Other than Busquets.
Yeah.
Who was still at that time
Yeah.
so good. I think Fabinho, pace, power, good in the air, had a good shot, really technically skilled, great
He was a
pass.
really good passer, wasn't he?
Great passer of the ball, could play a through ball. When we were dominating games and we push up the pitch, he'd go higher up the pitch.
Yeah.
Fabinho's a definite.
Do you remember him? He'd be sitting on the apex of the...
The apex of the
That's
box.
Sue Smith for any Optus fans. Tom loves that one. No, he'd be sat probably like 5-10 yards off the edge of the box, and he'd be up, and he could just dictate.
Yeah.
And his finishing was, he scored some crackers for Fabinho. But yeah, I think Fabinho's in for me.
Fabinho goes in.
Yeah.
All right, and now we've got some options now, Jack.
Gravenberg's been amazing this year, but Fabinho was the best player on the planet in that position.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah. Like Fabinho then and Gravenberg now is chalk and cheese.
Yeah. Like, if Gravenberg gets to that level,
then we've signed a great player.
Yeah, 100%. And don't get me wrong, he's been phenomenal this season. But yeah, if he can get to that level and win a Champions League, and
yeah, and just give a little bit more.
Yeah,
he's brilliant on the defensive side of things. That's what he's being asked to do. But every player in the 11 needs to be able to play incisive forward balls.
Yeah.
That's why we've got the goalkeeper we've got. Every player in the team needs to be able to do the same. All right, we've got some options now.
Yeah. This is hard, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, so we've got Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
Chamberlain.
Yeah.
We've got
Naby Keita. Genie Wijnaldum.
Genie Wijnaldum. Right.
Did you say Milner?
No, we've got James Milner.
Oh.
Right. We've got McAllister.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got Ryan Graffenberg as well. And I mean, let's throw Endo in for the crack.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go right side at centre midfielder. Who are you picking and why?
Szoboszlai, Henderson, man. Henderson that year. Well, you know what? You can't argue this. He was PFA Player of the Year that year.
Yeah. And congratulations, as a quick side note, to Salah, who won the Writers' Player of the Year.
Yeah, Writers' Player of the Year. With 90% of the votes, didn't he?
Yeah, 90%.
Henderson that year was immense, man. He was on a mission to win that title.
Yeah.
He was on an absolute mission to win that title.
Yeah.
What a captain. What a player. Played that system so well.
Yeah.
Did he score against United that season? Overlap on the right wing, and you didn't see that a lot from Henderson all the time. You'd see it in moments in games, but he was just relentless.
He
Henderson
played triangles all the time with Salah and
Henderson.
Trent, wouldn't he?
People used to slate Henderson, but this more probably when he first came in. He was playing out on the right wing. He played games in centre mid, and then obviously time goes on. He becomes captain. He got injured. He was out pretty much that first year of Klopp, and then he come back into the team, and then that Champions League winning year, he was excellent, and that Premier League, he was so good, man. He was so good. He was absolutely everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson, man.
Yeah,
Jordan Henderson.
For me, Jordan Henderson definitely goes in, because he was.
That was the weight of the armband.
Yeah, good player. Good. Jordan Henderson,
Yeah.
right, is like the best example that any kid who ever wants to be a footballer should look at.
Yeah.
He was not a great footballer,
Yeah.
but he was a good Premier League player
Yeah.
who, like, 90% of his game was his ability to manage a football team on the pitch.
Yeah. Which gets overlooked as well, man.
Have you seen the videos where it's in COVID and you can hear him?
I think it's the Palace game, and he's like, love it, John.
Pass, move, speed it up. So, like, Jordan Henderson for me definitely goes in that 11, because as I say, he had some moments of brilliance, some great goals. Chelsea, he scored at Anfield against Man City, he scored a screamer. But for me, just Jordan Henderson for what he contributed there.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got one space left in the midfield, Jack.
This is tougher, in all honesty, because Genie Wijnaldum gave us the Barca comeback.
Yeah.
Worked his socks off, man, for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But McAllister is probably
McAllister.
Is McAllister, yeah.
Yeah.
And they offer so many different things.
Yeah.
Wijnaldum's work rate, his ability to win the ball back, the way he could break the lines.
Yeah.
You'd always fancy them. You know what I mean, to get up the pitch and get something.
Yeah.
Especially in them last couple of years. Fuck, that's hard, that, isn't it? That is hard.
Yeah. I think for me, Genie Wijnaldum, right? Look,
Genie Wijnaldum.
and he had a great song.
Oh, yeah.
But I think for me, Genie Wijnaldum would go in 100% right if the reason I picked Henderson weren't a lot of the same reasons.
Yeah.
So, you know...
And the managers are very different, aren't they?
Different managers.
Yeah.
Different managers. And to be honest, you know, he was like a trained Genie Wijnaldum. You know what I mean? He was like Henderson was. He was just like a trainee, just bang.
Yeah.
But I think for me, for me, it's a hard one, but I am super tempted to throw McAllister in there because of what McAllister offers you that none of the other players do.
Not none of the other ones in the list. But honourable mentions here, Milner, who was just an amazing servant.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I remember like games that season, and you know what I mean. Even if he was coming on in the 80th minute, you're like, "Oh, we're gonna be all right." Yeah, he'll see this out.
The human full-time whistle.
Yeah, he'll see this out.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I mean, you cannot play across either side, but like the Szoboszlai this season has been brilliant. Other than when he's just hitting it past that, Oxlade-Chamberlain that year, had some really important moments. 2020. Curtis Jones. They've all look. It's McAllister. It is McAllister.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, our midfield three is the midfield three from 2020.
Yeah.
It's McAllister.
And you know what as well? A player who I think maybe doesn't get the plaudits he deserves, but could change a game with a drop of the shoulder and a change of movement. He was almost a winger who played in centre midfield, was Naby Keita.
Yeah.
Because, again, we've got that a little bit in like a Curtis Jones at the minute. Similar type player, right? Player who, you know, who's a bit like a winger. He wants to dribble through the midfield. Naby Keita was really strong.
Remember that performance against United?
Yeah. Naby, Jack...
He was injuries, man. It just was injuries with him. But yeah, he was brilliant, Keita.
And you know what as well? And obviously no one knows this, like, but you know when he left Liverpool, he went to Werder Bremen, and they were having all sorts of problems with him with his discipline. Now you never heard that at Liverpool, right? So what happened there? Did he go to Werder Bremen and then just go, whatever?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was that always a little thing with him on the club's PR team, as we were talking about?
The PR machine.
Like, had they settled that in? You never know, but I thought it was strange. You never heard a peep about it. He goes to Werder Bremen, suddenly there's loads of problems.
All the time.
Alright, so that's our midfield, and you know, I think there's players who could have got in those teams who didn't. Probably the closest one to it was Genie Wijnaldum. Although Oxlade-Chamberlain in that period when he was fit was fantastic.
Oh, and one more.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's more of an attacking player, but he did play in the midfield. Adam Lallana.
Yeah, Lallana.
Do you remember? So I think he got the goal against United that year for the draw. Am I right? Maybe. And then I always remember the moment against Wolves. We were going for the title, and he went and won the ball. Ran inside the box, took the ball off their defender, just completely sacrificed himself, and then bang, bang, we scored. And it was, Lallana, it was kind of like he knew it was coming to an end, and he wanted to just, you know what I mean? Throw everything he could at that squad to help them get it over the line. So,
Because I think as well with Lallana, was he'd had a tough year, the year of Kiev.
Yeah.
And he was really struggling with his fitness, wasn't he? But when he played, big contributor.
Yeah.
But again, you're talking about your dream midfield three.
Yeah.
You know.
I just wanted to,
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right. I think we've got one player who really is going to fight for this position on the right-hand side for Liverpool in the front three. It's Mo Salah, but is it Mo Salah in 2020 or 2025?
Are you not forgetting the star man of that season?
Who?
Minamino.
Yeah.
He was class that year, man. I loved Taki Minamino, man. He was class. Salah this year. He's breaking every record. Yeah, he was a monster that year, don't get me wrong.
He's good, yeah.
He's been great every year,
he's been great. He hasn't had a bad year. Don't listen to what anyone says about it, because it's all nonsense.
One season wonders and all this bollocks.
He's mustard, isn't he? I think for me, it is the 2025 season.
Yeah.
But because he's more well-rounded.
He's so well-rounded. I mean, don't get me wrong. The thing you've lost out of him was almost like the chaotic boom, beat 3 players and, you know what I mean, top ins.
Yeah.
And he chooses when I can't remember what the interview was. It might have been after we won the title, after it was confirmed. And he was talking about the difference with Slot and Klopp. And he said, like, I'd said to Slot, if you don't make me defend, I'll always be ready. Yeah. Because obviously he's getting older.
Yeah.
And it's something, you know, you used to see, obviously in the big games or the big moments, you'll see him track back and win that ball if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he's always kind of just ready and going through the motions to get ready for his opportunities, Salah. So, yeah, I think he's so well-rounded now, Mo Salah. Whereas, like, there was a point with Mo Salah where it was like, oh, you know, when he gets older...
Yeah, how's that going to go?
You know what I mean? Like Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
He got older, the pace went, and there was nothing else really there.
Yeah.
Whereas Salah's now, like,
he's
you know, is on for the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think it's Salah this year, man.
I agree.
And the other 2 he's played with all year, the other 2 positions up there, do not lace the boots of the lads who we play with in 2020.
Yeah.
They do not lace their boots.
And that's saying
and
something.
That's me, like, that's even a high compliment. Because the other lads, they're not lacing their boots, but the other lads aren't in the same country. They're nowhere near as good.
Yeah, but they're still...
I mean, any other players are nowhere near as good as that.
No, but... I'm going to come to it now, but those players would still play in most
100%,
teams.
yeah. And win the title in so many teams.
And win the title,
but like, the emphasis I can put on how good, I know it's, but so Salah's had to do it without that around him. And becoming the creative man, really.
Yeah.
Because Firmino hasn't been there.
Alright, well, let's talk about that number 9 position then. That season, 2020,
Firmino.
Bobby Firmino was probably at the peak of his powers, really.
Not for goals.
No, not for goals.
Chipped in here and there. I always remember, different competition with the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
There's goals in that, and yeah, but I love watching videos of him from that season. Yeah,
I think Bobby Firmino for me was sort of like the epitome of like if a fan wants to play for Liverpool, but he was Brazilian, and had mad skills. That would be Bobby Firmino, because there was something about Bobby that like I could never get my head around it right. Fans would be like, he just runs all game. And we'd be like, yeah.
Are you talking more at like the start here? Ponytail Bobby Firmino?
No, I'm talking about like, so other fans would say, you know, Bobby Firmino only scored 9.
Yeah.
But Alexis Sanchez scored 19.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Alexis Sanchez, and I'd be like,
you just don't understand.
Nah, you wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't understand.
Yeah, because of what he does.
Yeah.
What he does for 90 minutes.
What he could do with drawing players in.
Yeah.
And some of the assists that I think it was against Newcastle. Gets the ball, he turned him and he just flicked it with his heel.
Yeah.
I think Mane scored.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and just going,
Salah scored.
Was it Salah? And just going, oh my God. He just beat 3 men. And then just there's nothing away it goes. He was what a player Firmino was, man.
I always remember that goal he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Where he
put 4 of them on the
drops
ground.
the shoulders.
Yeah.
I was at that game as well.
Yeah.
Were you at that game with me?
I can't remember.
I was in the car. But yeah, Bobby Firmino, man.
Yeah.
It was just the best touch you've ever seen of a footballer.
Yeah.
Like, I know it. We'll talk about this with the next player as well because it's big. But when you're in the stadium and you see it and you see these little touches, these little moments, like that you don't really see on the TV.
Yeah.
But
I used to just watch Firmino.
Yeah.
Just watch his movements. Just seeing where he was going on the pitch, and he'd be like he was dancing. He'd just drift.
Yeah.
Just drift, boom, turn it on.
And then before you knew it, he was in the 6-yard box and he was tapping it in.
Yeah.
So many
not
of his goals,
looking.
Yeah, so many of his goals are tap-ins, aren't they?
But that's how good we were as a team. We just dominated all the way. Yeah, Firmino, 100%, man. Firmino, 100%. The hardest thing to replace there was we went and signed Nunes because we wanted a number 9 who was going to go and get big numbers.
Yeah.
But you couldn't. That link-up play was just irresistible, man.
Yeah, and you know what sort of sickens me a little bit, like genuinely, is I think under Slot, Bobby would have found his little home.
Yeah.
Because with the more controlled style of football, did you dribble?
No, itchy chin.
With the controlled style of football, I think Bobby could have found a nice little groove in there, man. You know, but he got a hero send off. I'm not sure.
What Trent's getting?
Others would. By the way, I have to say, on Trent, he will get a send off.
Yeah, he'll get the guard of honour. He'll get
he won't get a guard of honour, but he will.
People are gonna feel fine.
Yeah.
When that trophy's getting picked up in that stadium.
Yeah.
Things will be forgotten. There'll be a few exes getting text messages, a few friends making up. Things will be fine.
Yeah.
Right, so Firmino's
a definite, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I have to say that, you know, also in there, a player who contributed. You talk about Divock Origi, special moment, special player. You talk about players this year. Luis Diaz is a winger, but he's done the 9.
Yeah.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah.
A lot of his goals were earlier in the season, but he's done a great job. But you know, look, Jota's when he plays, he contributes. But it's been a tough year for Jota.
Divock Origi.
But yeah, Origi's probably closest to getting in.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
That left side. I'm just gonna chuck a name out just to give a good mention to here. Shaqiri.
Yeah, Shaqiri. Yeah.
He's made up for what he's done as well. Bale this year.
He scored them 2 goals against Man U at Anfield.
Yeah.
I think he's got the 3rd highest goal
For Liverpool against United.
No, he's got like this season for Bale. He's got like the 3rd highest
goals
and assist ratio of any.
I think he's something like 20 assists and 15 goals. I think he's got this season.
He has a wicked left foot, didn't he?
That's class, yeah. Massive legs on him as well, didn't he?
Massive legs, yeah.
But yeah, Shaqiri that year was brilliant. Obviously, Gakpo.
Yeah, Cody, yeah.
Who's been probably the 2nd best in the top 3 on either season.
Well, he's our 2nd highest goal scorer.
Yeah. Until he got that injury anyway, he was on fire. Just chipping in all the time.
And he was great against Arsenal.
Yeah.
When he did that tactical change, he struggled because he was marking 2 players essentially.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like there's a little movement there to get in, sneak the header and all that. I love Gakpo, man. I think he's really good. I do think he's really good. I like the versatility in Gakpo. To be honest, when we got him, I thought that's Firmino's replacement.
Yeah, I thought that. I didn't think he was going to be a left winger.
No, I didn't think.
But he likes playing on the left.
Yeah, he does. I thought that was going to be, he was going to sit in the 9. But yeah, I love Gakpo. And then obviously Sadio Mane.
Yeah, Sadio Mane is a shoo-in.
Did he win the Golden Boot that year?
He won the Golden...
When he shared?
Yeah, he won... He shared the Golden Boot.
Is that with Son?
The year we won... The year we won the Champions League.
Okay, yeah.
I think. So him, Salah and Aubameyang shared it. I think. But Sadio...
Correction. Joel Mata played 9 games that season.
Mate,
Yeah.
Sadio Mane,
Yeah. Frightening.
man.
Frightening.
Honestly, right, and I mean this. If you could get peak Sadio Mane in that Liverpool team right now,
Yeah.
I think I would take him over, other than Steven Gerrard.
Yeah.
I would take him over any former player I've ever seen peak. I would have Mane.
He was the signing that changed everything as well, weren't he?
Yeah.
Started thinking...
He played on the right wing and he was
Yeah.
so good, and then Salah came in and he shipped him off to the left.
Yeah, you started thinking, oh, look at this fella. Yeah, no, Mane... Look, I love Diaz. I do love him. And I love Cody as well, but I think Mane. I think it's Mane. I think the front three stays, man. Obviously, we went Salah this year, but... And I'd love to see Salah now where he's more than happy to... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not go up and beat the man, just play a ball in.
Well, when you look at it, you look at Bobby Firmino.
Yeah.
Good career.
Yeah.
Now he's playing in Saudi.
Just won the trophy as well, hasn't he? The Champions League.
Oh, well.
Whatever that is.
Concord won their third division last year. It's the same.
That's supposed to mean you weren't there in those teams when I was.
Who cares, lad? Slots and Ibiza, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
No, but like, look, it's always great to win a trophy, and it'll be important to them fans, like, you know. But, you know, like, he's playing over there for 300 people a week. But he left when really he was at the age where he still could have had a couple of years left. Sadio Mane left, went to Bayern Munich. Disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Yeah. All the stuff with Sané and everything wearing it.
Kicked out in a year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
They couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And Salah stayed, and Salah's continued to be a success. He's won a couple of League Cups, a Premier League trophy. He's played since then, you know, since that time, he's been the best player. And it just shows you, like, you know, they were all on an upwards trajectory and then they dropped off.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mo Salah's continued to go. And to be honest with you, I think if we sign a super number 9, if we get a player who could score 25 goals, like, you could get another couple of years out of Mo Salah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not relying on him to be so heavily. Yeah, in the goals.
Because if he scores, if we get a great number 9 who scores 25, and he pitches in with 15, and we win the league, it's a great year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But if we don't win the league and he scores 15, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anyway, I think that was it.
That's
and last question, a quick answer.
Go on.
Which fan base was better? Anfield empty with COVID in 2020, or Anfield absolutely having the best party to Dua Lipa in 25?
Dua Lipa 25, mate.
Right. Dua Lipa 25. Mbappe 25, remember that?
He put that on his Instagram as well.
No. What a load of nonsense that was.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I think we were right with the 11.
I think so.
We're right.
I'm interested to see. I'm sure people will disagree.
Yeah.
I'm sure in some people's team they definitely
just went this 11.
Yeah, all of the 2020 11.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of that.
Because that 2020 11 was the highest points total ever.
Yeah.
99 points. And this season's like a more normal season, but yeah, it's been great. I don't know how long we've been recording for, but this has been a good long.
It's been a good one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
These 5% support always do stuff to you, don't they? Here's me slagging off Premier League winners, Gakpo and Diaz.
Hey, look.
Didn't mean any of that.
They're good, but they definitely get in the squad.
Oh, yeah. They'd be in, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they're in the squad.
Yeah.
They're in the squad.
Divock Origi in this Liverpool team, I think, will be frightening though, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. If Origi was in this team.
But
if we had Origi, I mean, like, not Banoffee Pie Origi that he is now.
Banoffee pie?
Because he loves, like, he's put the weight on like I have since he won all them trophies.
Well, he's not playing, is he?
No, but if he was in this team, I do think he'd have...
He'd do alright.
Yeah. But yeah, Reds.
Yeah, look, alright. Reds, thanks very much. Thanks for being with us, Jack. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
As I said earlier, we've got some giveaways.
Yeah.
Giveaways coming up, which we can't say anything about. I can't show you, but over there on the floor is a banner which will be at the trophy parade. It's a Reds Down Under banner.
Yeah, you haven't shown me.
No, I'm going to show you. It's fucking huge.
Is it?
Yeah. So I'll show you that. We've got loads more content coming out on Instagram and on Facebook as well. We're going to be in Cheers Bar to watch the Reds.
Lift number 20.
Lift number 20. So we'll be there to watch that Crystal Palace game. Thank you to Cheers Bar for having us for that. They've been brilliant, actually, I have to say.
Cheers.
So we will be going down there to watch that. So if you see us, come say hello.
Yeah.
Will be easily signposted, hopefully. Thank you so much, Reds. We've got 2 more games left in the Premier League. It's vital that we win both of those games, or the podcast will never return ever again. See you next week.
Good night.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.